we are. We're back, 10:45,
Nice.
with one of my favorite topic, the Lambrusco revolution. So you guys know it's something I've been preaching for 15 years at least. The first 13, nobody listened to me. In the last 2 years, people have started to understand that Lambrusco is not all the same, and is gaining a lot of traction, is getting very popular again. It is a different Lambrusco that what took us this country by storm in the 80s. And we have one of the best person to talk about that, because their family was never part of the Lambrusco, the low quality Lambrusco invasion of the 80s. So live from Correggio, Her Sparkling Highness, Alicia Lini.
Hello to everybody. No, I'm very, very happy to be with all of you. Thank you, Wimbo. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for this special Vinitaly. So, okay, I am Alicia Lini. I'm the generation number 4 of this family that just decided to start to produce Lambrusco sparkling wine and balsamic vinegar since 1910. Our brand is Lini 1910. Lini represents our family name. And if you cover the first 3 letters of our brand, it just appear in 1910, and is when my great-grandfather, Oreste Lini, started to produce wine. Has been a very long story and very tough for some aspect, because the first and the second generation had the opportunity to experience and to enjoy the experimentation of quality and Lambrusco. But as Giovanni mentioned, you know, for the past decades has been very difficult to continue in this course of quality and research, because the market started to absorb a cheap, sweet Lambrusco. So my family was not a part of that. I don't want to get in the political things that govern everything. It's just that we are in the democracy, so there is no judgment about what other producer made. You know, the unique rule is that the market is free, so we made our part and took our decision and what to be in the top high quality Lambrusco. But unfortunately, for a couple of decades, we did not have the opportunity to express you know, our quality, because the market was not I cannot say not ready, but the market was concentrated to absorb other kind of wine, and the mentality or the name of Lambrusco has been destroyed. So the unique thing that moved me to come to the States and to divulgate our brand is just because I got as an heredity something from my family that pushed me to divulgate this possibility and this experience. Lambrusco is a very simple wine. During these days, you mentioned and you had the opportunity to present amazing and important wine. Lambrusco is not probably important, it's not structure, it's not, how we can say, it's a very simple wine, but through our simplicity, we just reach the excellence of our typology. You can obtain Lambrusco.
You always compare, and I love that comparison that you do. It's Lambrusco with a pizza margherita. And you always say there's nothing better than a good pizza, and there's nothing worse than a bad pizza. So what makes a good Lambrusco and what makes a not so good Lambrusco, in your opinion?
I make this example because for me it's very easy to compare the simplicity of ingredients of a pizza and the simplicity of our Lambrusco. But to produce a Lambrusco is not that simple anyway, because it's a sparkling wine, and behind a sparkling wine there are huge investments. And the first investment is what is the most precious things for everybody, which is time. So we just take our time, and this time is very slow in order to obtain a special sparkling wine. And this doesn't matter even if the wine is simple. and drinkability focus that we want to reach. The most important thing is that we respect, this time. My dad always says that Lambrusco, before to be a wine, is a sparkling wine, and we can obtain the sparkliness in 1 week, but our Lambrusca, for example, is obtained at least in more than 90 days. So this is the difference, and this consider that the costs are unbelievable to obtain this kind of quality through this simplicity.
So you often mention your father. We have the pleasure to meet in several times. He's a great winemaker, great palate. You please talk about him and your relationship. For example, when there was the Lambrusco invasion, all the time you try to convince your father to cave in, and all the time he refused to do so.
Okay. It's not my dad. It's not okay. I have to be precise. I have to be precise. Not just my dad, but it's the third generation. So the first, the first ready that I received is that when I joined the winery, Anita, Massimo, and my dad was conducting the winery, and they took the ball of from the second generation, from the generation of my grandfather, and the only thing that just arrived into my heart that they continue to build the brand and to preserve the name of the Lambrusco in general and the sparkling wine without any economical ambition. So and they want to protect this and to preserve a special idea. So they were evaluate very precise. So when I joined the cantina, there was no market for Lambrusco. The perception of Lambrusco was completely destroyed from the contest. And there was this big attention about sweet products, sweet sparkling, sweet Lambrusco. So after, a couple of years, I just realized that with our dry Lambrusco, we can go anywhere. So one day I went to my dad's office, which is connected to our laboratory, and he was making some analysis, and I asked to my dad, I didn't say sweet, because you cannot even mention the sweetness in the family, in the context.
It's forbidden.
So
it's like a bad word.
Yeah, it's a bad word. But I say, can we make something softer, softer? More round a little bit, because the market wants, this kind of Lambrusco. And the answer of my dad was, you can go and change the sector and work for fashion if you don't understand the meaning of our value and everything that pushed me, my brother and my sister to preserve our brand. I was really young. I don't want to justify myself, but I just think that in that moment, something clicked inside me, and I really focus what my family tried to do in the past, in the meantime, and now into the market and inside and outside our family. So of course, that anything sweet has been produced. We just try to carry on with our philosophy. That was very precise. We were a really white mosquito at some point. And we just were ready to work and join the wine team now.
And did you go to work in fashion?
No,
did you follow your father's advice? You didn't?
No, my brother always said that I had many interviews, but nobody wanted me, so I had to stay in the family, unfortunately for them. So
well, we're very happy that you did, and we're very happy that you helped preserve what we call the Lini way.
Lini way. Definitely Lini way. The Lini way is basically to respect the time, to select the perfect quality from the vineyard to the elaboration of the wine. When I say that it's difficult, the concept, to understand the concept, that even if the result is simple wine, simple drinkability, simple, the process behind is really complicated and expensive in a way. So this is a contradiction, but is what is the reality is. So there is a, you know, technically we have the refrigeration, a second refrigeration. We clarify the wine. We make, you know, the isobaric centrifugation. We conserve the wine at 0 degree. And then, you know, we bottle the wine when the wine is stable and stacked, you know, the wine so much that we don't add anything. I don't want to abuse the word natural, because natural wine is another big chapter, but we just really preserve every aroma, every sensation, every perfume that has to be natural 100%. We don't add any protein, any you know, this. And the big attention is on the sparklet. That always has to die in your mouth instead to come up into your nose. And has been difficult to preserve this sensation when the market and the expectation from the market